Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ayush from SHKM GMC Haryana. I recently secured a rank of 708 in this NEET PG 2025. First of all, I want to say a big thank you for the overwhelming response on my previous video. The amount of messages and DMs I've received has been incredible and I'm truly humbled by your support. So, if I had to pick one question that almost everyone has asked me, it would be this. How do you approach MCQs? Which MCQs to do? And how do you annotate them effectively? So in today's video, I'm going to answer exactly that. This video is going to be your ultimate guide to solving MCQs for NEET PG 2026. Now, one thing you need to know is that doing MCQs has a different strategy in different phases of your preparation. I've already shared what your daily MCQ solving schedule should look like in my previous video, morning, evening and afternoon slots. If you haven't seen that yet, do check it out. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Solving MCQs for NEET PG follows a step ladder pattern. And on this ladder, there are 3 plateaus that you need to break. The first plateau, 120 correct. The second plateau, 140 correct. And the third plateau, 160 correct. You cannot directly jump from below 120 to above 160. You have to move step by step. These plateaus divide the students into 4 basic zones. Zone 1, less than 100 correct. Zone 2, 100 to 120 correct. Zone 3, 120 to 140 correct. And zone 4, 140 to 160 correct. And beyond 160, that's a different game altogether. There it's all about intuition, elimination skills, intelligent guessing, and yes, even a little bit of luck. Those are the things you will have to develop for yourselves. So let's talk about each zone now. Zone 1. If you are in this zone, that means you are getting your recall based MCQs wrong. Your basic concepts are weak. To move on to zone 2, you need to do various things. First of all, stick to one standard resource. Stop hopping between platforms. Second, focus on understanding the basics by watching videos and doing multiple revisions. Third, solve around 50 to 100 MCQs daily and filter them smartly. Use hashtags such as recent NEET and AIMS. Now, moving on to zone 2. Here, your basics are clear, you know your topics well and you've memorized most things. But to move on to zone 3, you need 2 upgrades. First, start building extra knowledge and how to apply things by solving test and discussion. If you have ample time, solve each and every test and discussion that has been held 1.0 to 7.0. If you lack in time, then you can do 5.0 to 7.0. Second, increase your daily MCQ volume to 100 to 150 MCQs per day and use a variety of hashtags such as clinical, image based and slides. Now let's talk about zone 3. If you are in this zone, that means you already have a good knowledge and you are getting a lot of MCQs correct. But there is always that one particular high yield subject that's dragging you down. That's the bottleneck. You need to identify that particular weak subject and strengthen it. How? First, do the narrow rapid revision of that particular subject. It's quick, it's focused and it's good for patching up gaps. Second, solve MCQs of that particular subject from the Q bank itself, not just the custom module. Work through the entire subject systematically. Now third, increase your daily MCQs to 150 to 200 per day. Zone 3 is where most of the students get stuck. But if you can break through this plateau, you will be ready to enter the zone 4, which is the most competitive stage. Now, if you are already in zone 4, first of all, let me say this. I'm proud of you. You've done well in your preparation and a great rank surely awaits you. Now your goal is simple, to break the 160 plateau. Now how do you do it? Increase your MCQs to 200 per day. This volume will push your brain to handle tougher variations and recall faster. Next would be to increase your GT frequency. GTs aren't just about preparing now. Now it's all about simulating the real exam and building stamina to stay focused for 3.5 hours. In your custom module, you can now use all the hashtag, recent updates, criteria, problems. Just avoid the controversial ones because I don't think they add much real value. You've already compiled your content by this stage. Now focus on active recalls and spaced revisions. This is also the best time to try out the peak week strategy I talked about in my previous video. Compressing all 19 subjects into 7 days. It trains your mind to handle the final stretch like nothing else. And finally, remember this, to conquer zone 4, you need to go beyond the obvious. Don't just solve the easy questions and leave the difficult ones. Solve and understand even those questions which almost 30 to 40% students are getting them correct, because every single question is a stepping stone to crossing that 160 mark. If you can hold your focus here, you're not just preparing, you are competing to win. One very important point I want to make here: the MCQs I've talked about, these are above and beyond your daily subject wise practice. For example, let's say you studied pathology today and you did 50 MCQs. These 50 shouldn't be included in your 100 to 200 daily mixed bag MCQs. Remember that. Now that we've talked about zones and plateaus, now let's talk about the different type of MCQs that you will be encountering in your NEET PG journey. Let's start with the first category, recall based MCQs. These are simplest on the surface, direct facts, one-liners, things you've either read or you haven't. And honestly, the best way to approach them is to go with your first instinct. Always remember, your first thought is usually your best thought. If an option immediately clicks in your mind, mark it, don't overthink. Now, let's move on to the next category, concept-based MCQs. These are completely different from your recall-based MCQs. Here, the examiner isn't testing your memory. He's testing if you actually understand the subject. The question might be framed in a twisted way or an indirect way, and going with your first instinct can make you completely fall into the trap. So, the golden rule here is don't rush. Break the question down, process the information carefully, eliminate the wrong option step by step, and think what concept is this really testing me on. So, unlike recall based MCQs, where your first choice is usually correct, here your first choice is usually wrong. Next, we talk about long MCQs, the kind that fills up whole of your screen with the case scenario, history, and so much of irrelevant details. Here's the trick. Always start reading from the last line, because that's where the examiner tells you what's being asked. If you read the whole paragraph from the beginning, you'll waste precious time and end up getting lost in all those unnecessary details. Now, coming to problem based MCQs, especially numerical ones in subjects like pharmacology and physiology. The easiest way to tackle them is to focus on the units. You can eliminate wrong options or even arrive at the correct ones without having to actually fully solve the problem. For example, if you are needed to calculate clearance, we know the answer is going to be in ml per minute. We just have to multiply or divide in such a way that the unit we get is in ml per minute. Now, when it comes to image based MCQs, let me be very honest with you. There's no shortcut or magic trick here. The only way to master them is repeated exposure. You need to see those images again and again until it becomes a part of your memory. Revise image sets regularly, make it a part of your daily or weekly schedule. Now you've done MCQs, so let's talk about bookmarking and star marking. Now let's talk about star marking. Use this for absolutely high yield questions that you must revise in the last week before the exam. Try to limit their number to 100 to 200 maximum. And remember, if you star everything, nothing is a star. Most important lesson about bookmarks is don't let your bookmarks pile up endlessly. Whenever you complete a subject, you see your bookmarks of that particular subject. If the information is already given in your notes, erase that bookmark. Some of you who have a job in the morning or have a posting in the morning, it's difficult to read under those circumstances. So you solve MCQs during that time, bookmark the wrong ones, and when you come back, you see those bookmarks and see if the information is already given. If it is, then do erase that bookmark. Remember to revise your bookmarks every 2 to 3 weeks. So now let's talk about annotating MCQs effectively. The first rule, always annotate in your BTR notebook itself. Whatever question you do in the day, whatever concept you learn, whatever new fact you learn, add it into your BTR notebook itself. Please don't make a separate notebook for GT or MCQ questions. Trust me, you're never going to revise it in the last phase of your revision. And without revising, all that effort is wasted. So compile everything into one single source. For lengthy questions with important tables, images, slides or instrument, you can use bookmarks. For one-liners, add them straight into your BTR notes under the appropriate heading. For concept-based questions, do them immediately and revise that topic from the main notes. Finish it then and there. Remember this, I can guide you, show you the path, share my strategies and the mistakes that I made. But in the end, it's all up to you. It's you who has to take the action. It's never too late, it's never too early. The perfect time is right now. Believe in yourself, stay consistent, visualize the seat you want every single day and work towards it. And one day, you and I will meet on the other side of the road, the side where dreams turn to reality. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me on Instagram or Telegram. And if you'd like a personalized session with me, you can contact me via Salah Shorts. I have mentioned the details in the description box below. Keep going, you got this.